everybody I see online are either extremely depressed or just plainly delusional and overly optimistic for some reason. There seems to be no middle ground. And maybe to some people, I might fit into one of those categories as well. I don't know. And I'm not trying to sound like a sociopath, but whenever I see someone falling apart online or sharing stories about their success, I don't really feel anything anymore, you know? It feels like my empathy is kind of tapped out at this point. And there's actually a psychological term for this, and it's called empathy fatigue or compassion fatigue. And they say that every person has a threshold to which one can empathize with others. So it's kind of like this cost of caring, per se, and once you go past that threshold, you reach a state of exhaustion where your emotional energy to tend to others are completely depleted. And if I'm going through this, I thought some of you might be feeling the same way as well. But I remember that it didn't feel this way before. You know, back in 2010, probably that's 15 or so years ago. Believe it or not, there was a time when the internet was a place of discovery and possibility. And I remember I used to stay up all night digging for new music to listen to. And this was during the early SoundCloud and YouTube era where house and techno music, dubstep, all those different genres were booming at the time. And whenever I stumbled upon a hidden gem, I would feel so satisfied and fulfilled, like a prospector who just found gold. And at the time, the songs that you added to your playlist and the films that you watched and introduced to your friends sort of defined who you are. That became your identity. Every piece of collection that you added and you built was a reflection of who you are. And it was a reflection of your taste. And if you were into something like fashion, that was a whole other niche culture that you could also get into. And I might be romanticizing a bit too much here, but consuming was actually enjoyable and fulfilling, unlike what we feel today. Nowadays, it all feels like nostalgia. And I don't even know what people do these days. What do Gen Zs even talk about these days? Do they talk about, podcast channels, social media influencers, Andrew Tate, cryptocurrency? You know, I might be sounding like a fool here, but I genuinely have no clue. And I'm not sure if people even enjoy culture these days, even discovering new cultures. All I can think off the top right now is people talking about dating culture, men versus women politics, and some brain rot vocabulary that don't really have any meaning. Convenience took the joy out of discovery, and we traded meaning for comfort. We traded curiosity for pleasure. Now, nothing is found, only delivered. And we live in a time where even our taste is handed to us. So it's not surprising that more and more people are resorting to shallow virtues like looks and performance. A French philosopher, Albert Camus, once said, "Life is meaningless, but it's worth living, provided you recognize it's meaningless." And right now, at the state of things, looks like the world is going to shambles. So why not entertain ourselves for the time being?